Basically, vaping is nothing more than nicotine distribution device. So it's going to be no different than a patch or the Nicorette gums. But what I loved about vaping, I couldn't find an alternative that felt like I was smoking. And smoking, there's a thing that you get called the throat hit when you inhale. And like the blue cigarettes, when the electronic cigarettes first came out, you couldn't get enough of a throat hit. So I could never quit using those devices. I had a friend in Virginia. She had a vaping device she let me try. And immediately when I got a throat hit, I knew that this was going to be something that I could, that was going to allow me to quit smoking. So I immediately went out the next day, purchased a vape pen, just a basic beginner kit, and threw away my cigarettes, and it's been good ever since for 11 months. I smoked about 2 packs a day for about 24, 25 years. So I've been a long time smoker. So, and I also, which is, I'm a runner as well, which kind of doesn't work out, kind of goes against that. So, and also I'm a father, and as you get older, you start thinking about things like, it's game over if you get cancer. I did not want to have to go to a doctor's appointment because I'm feeling like I have a cold that won't go away. And, then a doctor says, well, you have stage 4 lung cancer. Well, at that point, it's game over. You can't reverse what you've done. So I'm glad vaping is here. I mean, it's been a godsend to discover it and use it. Vaping is 10 times cheaper than smoking per month. So I can vape for about $30 a month versus I was paying up to $300 a month in cigarettes. Sense of smell comes back. Your sense of taste comes back, which both are muted and dulled by years of smoking. They're less winded. I mean, a lot of my customers are like, man, I mowed the grass yesterday, and for the first time I wasn't out of breath. It was incredible. I was like, whoa, you don't smell anymore. I mean, it's amazing. I used to always have, my friends would always be like, the non-smoker friends, like, oh my God, you smell like smoke, and I would hate it because it offends smokers because we're kind of our own little group of people, and I would just get so angry when people would be like, man, you smell like smoke. I'd be like, no, I don't. It's not that bad. But it's funny how much it is disgusting after you quit smoking to smell it on somebody. Essentially, all that you're dealing with vape is a battery and a tank. So you only have two pieces. And the battery, this particular battery is what we call a variable voltage battery. So you can kind of crank up more volts to get more vapor production. The higher the volts, the more vapor production you're actually going to get more, we don't call it smoke because it's not, but more vapor production, more of the cloud. With vaping, you have to be a little bit more careful because you can vape, just keep going and going and going. And you kind of get headaches. You can overvape. I remember when I first saw my first vapor pens, I was kind of confused, well, what are the pieces? This is just a battery. It's nothing special. It goes on a USB charger that comes along with the pen, and you just screw it in and it plugs into any USB port. This particular battery will stay charged for up to 2 days. This is your actual tank, which holds the e-juice, and it's a kind of a 2-piece system as well. It comes apart. This is a coil. The coil actually has 2 small wicks, and then there's a little metal coil under that plastic that kind of is wrapped in there, and that's actually what heats the e-juice, which produces the vapor. The coils are replaceable. You replace them usually 3 weeks to a month, and we sell individual coils or 5 packs, and you just would unscrew that and throw it in the trash. You would wash both pieces of the tank, let them dry, put in a brand new coil, and you have a brand new tank, essentially, is how it works. And then to fill it is really simple. If you are 1.8 18 mg of nicotine is what we start new vapors out on, especially coming from cigarettes. Some people back down their nicotine level. You go from 18 to 12 to a 6 to 0. But if you have 18, if your juice is 18, this is equivalent to about a carton of cigarettes. And this is a 15 milliliter bottle that sells for about $11.99. So basically how you fill the tank, this is a juice that's specific to our shop. This is Evil Knievel juice. And you're just going to hold the tank sideways, and you're going to hold your liquid, and you're just not going to get juice. There's a small little column in the middle where you pull air through, and you don't want your juice going into that column. And you're just going to fill up, and you don't want to go all the way up. I kind of leave a little bit, about that much. And then you're just going to take your bottom piece, and you're going to screw that back in, like so. And then you're just going to screw it back into the vapor pen, and then you're good to go. So it produces vapor. That's it. My favorite moment of a new customer is the first time they hit the pen. After I fill it for them and I get everything, you know, like I explain the mod to them, I explain the tank, the battery, how to charge it, how to clean it, maintenance, and then we fill it with juice, and I make sure before all the customers leave that they're vaping and you know, everything's working properly. And that first moment when they hit it and they just smile, because you kind of know that they're not going to smoke. And there is a lot of satisfaction from that, knowing that you are helping people get away from something that's dangerous, you know.